What if you could fit an entire record label in your pocket? Today, we're unlocking how musicians are using AI to find their hidden superfans, blow up their streams, and finally get paid. Don't blink. You won't want to miss this. Sid, kicking it off how we always do. In one word, how you feeling today? And in one sentence, what do you need today?
I'm feeling hype. I'm shipping. I need momentum. Let's go.
I'll get the screen shared and we'll jump over to Notion and start running into. It blows my mind how much we hear Skype on your side. Like I thought that was a dead product.
It's Teams. I have a Teams thing that I get pinged on too when I'm not when I have my phone turned off.
7th of March. This is our first time doing this weekly recap in the month of March. Starting at the top, project goal, a major record label in your pocket at 1/10 the cost with a full team working so you can focus on the art. Recoup makes it easy for musicians and other creators to build and manage AI agents at scale on base and help musicians get paid. Any feedback or, oh, I'm not sharing my screen.
So he thought he said, what up? He said, let's build, but what up? All right, cool. Yeah, we're good on project goal.
Quarterly goals. We have 3 quarterly goals: valuable product, Sid and Suites are using and get value on a daily. No, only 2. 2 goals for quarter 1: have a valuable product and have a product that Sid and Suites are using and get value from on a daily basis. Starting with the first one, valuable product. Last week, Sid said that segments need to directly tie back into improving campaigns for artists and driving revenue. Segments need to have a big enough data set, number of fans to move the needle. Actual was too small. Segments limited to about 100 fans. Too generic. It wasn't deep insights and not monetized, not clear how to monetize. My feedback last week was lack of robust social data. Comments are missing avatar image. Many social records are missing or have an accurate number of followers. Many social records are missing or have an accurate bio. Same thing for following. And then I also said lack of immediate results. Think we should be building social proof and trust instead of a generic thinking spinner. For valuable product, did this change or is this still the same?
Same.
Lack of robust social data. Comments, I don't know if they still are. They were missing and I spent this week cleaning them up. I am on the verification step of that now, but I have not been able to verify it.
Should we verify now or should we continue?
I've got the post page done. It won't help us verifying the avatar. I decided to opt for the post page instead of the fan page, so I did not build the one thing we could have reviewed to check this.
Okay.
I'll keep it the same. It still needs to get done. This still feels like the focus is segments, and we still have more work to do here. Good to move on to the next one?
Yeah.
Sid and Suites using get value on a daily basis. Last week you said you're not. The client for Instagram would add value for Sid. For the general population, the smarter the client, the more value it has. This goes back to our segments. Segments need to be able to inform the client how to best grow my profile or my client on Instagram.
Artist.
My artist, that was probably it, my artist. On Instagram, MIQ, what info can we give that nobody else has that's truly necessary? My feedback from last week on are we getting value on a daily basis, I said it's not easy or clear how new data is captured to update my segments, new comments, new posts, MIQ. How can Recoup instantly know when new data is missing to my social profile and scrape the missing data? What's the real value add that makes you go back to check out Recoup? I think this is a good time for me to show what I built, if it's okay.
Let's do it.
Okay. The first time I'm testing it in prod, I just built a post page so that we can verify the results of this scraping in a simple visual UI instead of having to go into Supabase. And so you go onto your page, there's no buttons to get to it because Sid did not approve this and we haven't designed it. This is me building out something that I thought would be good. Select an active artist and then you go to /posts If you go to posts, it then shows all the posts that we have gathered across all the social platforms for the active artist. So it starts with the skeletons. It then, once it gets the data, it loads it in at latest data first. So these are posts that were either posted today or scraped from today. And then we start to load in the actual content of that post so that we can visually see it. You can
Fuck
see
yeah.
now the Instagram posts are loading in. It's got the actual Instagram embed. So you can kind of verify underneath the posts that it is picking up. It should do the same with all the others with Twitter and TikTok. I just fixed Twitter right before this, but I have found that it is a little slow to load all the content. It's loading like a lot, all the videos. And then we can jump to someone else like, let me go to city limits. If we go to city limits, keys artist, we can see all the posts that we scraped from city limits. And so the first thing that jumps out to me here is the latest post is from January 30th of 2025. And so today's March 7th. The last post was scraped on Jan 30th. This is an art that we can start to see, okay, whatever segments we're generating were generated off of data that was limited to January 30th. We can see all their posts and get like, what's the total size? For city limits, I can scroll all the way down to the bottom of the posts and I can see it's 3, 6, 9, 12, 13 posts that we scraped from city limits. And so this is giving me personally a better verification of, okay, I saw that it scraped, I saw the segments on the segments page, but going to the post page allows me to actually, and for this, we don't even have segments, but for someone like me, like I see the segments, what is the data that we use to generate those? And so this is me, why did I build the post page? The goal of the post page is for UI and any other person using Recoup to be able to verify the results of scraping, to have a great, like you said, Sid, for the general population, segments need too small, too generic, not monetized. I think the too small is what this will help people to see, is if city limits only has 12 posts being scraped, the total amount of fans that we can get off of that is going to be reflective of that.
Yeah, I agree. I also think this just helps in what you were talking about, social proof. It helps us when we start to build out a dashboard to be able to say, what's my top 3 posts? Like it doesn't just say, we could serve them the post instead of just being like a text. So yeah, I think this is awesome. It's a verify. To be able to verify this stuff is great. I think it's a great build.
Thanks. I really like seeing these embeds like mixed together. Like I don't know what platform I could go to that is aggregating just my profile and allowing me to see, here's what you're actively posting on March 7th, 2025, and getting to see all the engagement that I'm getting in one single place.
No, yeah, I like it.
The other 2 things I'll show while I'm demoing things that were built is I've been slowly building out our docs. In order to get this, I needed to build an API endpoint for posts. And so rather than just building it invisibly on our backend and not just for internal use, I made it an external endpoint so that you just go onto the docs, you can see this is the exact API I'm hitting to build the post page. And so if you are building on Recoup, whether you're a musician that's vibe coding or an actual intense builder that's venture backed, you can build on the data set that we have been scraping to build your own interfaces for dealing with all of the AI that we've been building at Recoup. And so we've got an endpoint for posts where you get back all the social media posts across all of your platforms for a given artist. And we also have fans, and fans gives you back all of your fans that we have scraped across all of your social media platforms. And so my next step on this verification stuff is we just showed the post page where you see all the posts that we've scraped. I'm then going to use this fans API endpoint to give us a page where we can see, here's all of the fans, see their bios, see which platform they're coming from, and see one single page that it is an amalgamation of every fan that we have scraped across all social platforms for whatever artist you're managing right now. So let's go back to the.
I love it. How do you envision the fans page layout? Is it like a list that's filterable? Is it like just PFPs? What do you think? I feel like there's a ShadeCon or ShadeCN list, or any of those UI lists that like would just make it really easy to just showcase basically all of the fans and where they're from or what we have them on and the PFP or whatever. Click into it.
So far, I've been letting Cursor build the UI. I told it I wanted tiles for the posts, and so that's where it got the tiles. But like the skeletons, it did on its own without me prompting.
Yeah, just let it do its thing. Cool.
I'm so far letting it do its thing. So if you want a guide, I'm happy to take it into consideration. But I'm vibe coding so far, and because this wasn't even on a roadmap. This was like a off branch of me trying to verify the goals.
I'm cool with it. I'm all good with it.
Okay. And do you have any thoughts or reflections on me starting to make docs for the API? This was also something I haven't talked to you about, and I have just started building. What is your emotional reaction or your first take on me starting to build out documentations for our API?
That's a good question. My first initial reaction was, should we make it open? And then my second initial reaction was, because I had an emotional reaction, the answer is probably yes. And unless there's a red flag, like let it go and open it up to be just to builders. Like fuck it. So I'm all for it.
I wanted to test out the overlay, but it's not showing the new comments, so I'll get rid of it. Okay, let's keep. So on my side, I'll start on this one. It's not easy or clear how new data is captured to update my segments. We're showing new posts, so I can scrap that one. Just resetting the thought. Did this change? Use and get value on a daily basis. The data scraping is important, and it is done. We're scraping now. We're scraping everything. We're getting all the profiles. We still want to verify.
And
we still want to verify. I think that's where we're at. I think we're done with properly scraping. The post page is telling you we're in the right direction. I need the page in order to verify the fans.
Yeah, I agree. I want to get followers, Sweets.
Like by using the product, you want to increase the number of followers?
No, I want to scrape followers.
I
don't want just comments. I want to scrape followers.
Where'd it go? Does that delete your comment from last week?
Well, segments need to be able to inform the client how to best grow my artist on Instagram. Scraping followers will help me will help the product give more insightful opportunities at how to grow.
Scraping followers.
Yes. Yeah. Get rid of it. You're right. Yeah. Less is more. I want to scrape followers. I want to scrape all followers. I want to know, Sweets, if I scrape all your followers on Twitter, how many of them are into AI agents versus blockchain versus musicians versus, really understand who your followers are. Identify unique hidden fan segments.
What was the last thing you said?
Identify unique hidden fan segments. What percentage of your followers are into fucking polka dot? that kind of thing. Like, should you be posting more polka dot shit? Should you be posting less polka dot shit?
Same MIQ for this section or different MIQ for this specific section?
No, same MIQ. What info can we get that nobody else has that's truly necessary?
Cool. It's not easy or clear how new data is captured to update my segments. That's still the case. Seeing my posts, I'm like, part of me wants to have a little refresh button that's like refresh and check if there's new content, and that button allows it to scrape right then. But that I think might be a mid-curve take. My MIQ, how can Recoup instantly know when new data is missing? I think where I've been building with these pages is starting to answer that question. Is that what's the real value add that makes me go back to check out Recoup? These still feel like good questions for me to ask to get me using the product on a daily basis.
I agree.
Cool. Good to move on?
Yep.
Okay. Quarter one, we talked about we're in the last month of Q1. We have, I believe, about 3 more weeks in Q1 to accomplish these goals. I've been overall finding that we went from a more broad focus and we're really honing in on segments, and that seems to be our mantra for this quarter.
Yeah.
Monthly goal for March, we have I believe just one goal, and it's Warner signs up. Inside of Warner sign up, we have 2 sub goals: scrape all data and segment name generation. All customers or just enterprise, only one handle Dasha and missing fields. This should be done. I just want to say done needs verified. In my opinion, fans page is final missing piece to verify. On your side, are there other things that you want to be able to verify if we're missing fields from followers? Or, I mean, I guess saying missing followers scraped, right?
Yeah. Yep, that's what it is.
Missing followers, so I'll say Sweets and Sid on this one. That feels like a good goal for next week, getting the followers, keeping us on the scrapers, because I'm trying to say it's done, and so you keeping us on the followers is helpful for me to not run off into the other areas. Scraping all data. I did not set up the ability to scrape Dasha at full scraping. I've been prioritizing. Go ahead.
Get followers first. Like set up the followers, and then once we do that, like we'll scrape everything that we can. Followers, fans, posts, etc. Yeah. And that will be the followers is the missing piece, because that's where the bulk of that's where the data is going to be. Just I want to preface also by saying, like, when we're thinking through it, like if there is a way to separate or identify followers from engaged fans or people that have commented, that way if we want to filter by if we want to start filtering down the line, we can, but or if it's like we're scraping comments already, so like when we're scraping followers, they're most likely commenters are going to also be followers. So like we don't need to rescrape them if we already have them in the system, but if we already have them, then we know they're fans. I don't know. We'll figure that part out. Yeah, that's here nor there.
Yeah. Weekly goals. Okay, monthly goal, scrape all data, good on that point. Segment name generation. The problem we defined is too small. Segments are limited to about 100 fans. I'm going to say scraping limited instead of segments, because segments are going to be generated based off of what we have, but our scraping is the limiting factor. Too generic, not deep insights. They need to be more niche. You had that excellent, we cropped it last time from your long thing. That still needs implemented in the segment generation side. But before we move on to segment generation, focused on scraping, not monetized, that falls into the same thing. Add opportunity, actual add the name and the number of fans. Your design, you gave us the designs for that. I still need to build it. Would just say that this is going to come after we finish scraping. We're focused on scraping. Okay.
I agree.
Still monthly goal. We need to get, these are ordered. They're not able to be done. Well, maybe we could do them in parallel, but we're focusing on sequential right now, really focusing on scraping. Yep. Anything else you want to talk about a monthly goal, or keep moving on to power users?
So like the monthly goal is Warner, but like I also want to preface, and we can go actually, no. Let's go into power users because it rolls up into our monthly goal with Warner.
Okay.
So can you jump to founders.recoupable.com?
Yep.
This is how building in public we're going to get sweets. You ready for this? Bam! Public. All right. Well, that's not incorrect. Why is it showing? Okay, there we go. It just takes a second to show. All right, awesome. So we can go through our rolling active users, paying customers, monthly recurring revenue, development costs, operational costs. But what I really want to go to is the sales pipeline. So,
wow, you got draggable cards?
I got draggable cards, bro. I got it's a whole fucking thing. So paying customer is where our MRR is coming from currently. Let me give you a quick update on what's going on. Indie artists, I think we added one new person. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm not 100% focused on indie artists right now. Coinbase is, you already know what's going on with that. So 300 Entertainment, we have Megan Thee Stallion and T Grizz. I emailed them to set up a call to go over SyncStream's roll up into Recoup, what's going on, and next steps to like kind of move that along to start to get them onboarded to more artists, etc. Atlantic Records, same thing. I set up a call. We have La Tyler. And so I'm going to do the same thing with them where I set up a couple artists, same thing that we did with Warner Records, set up a couple artists, show them where Recoup's at, etc. Now let's jump to free trials. This is the part that I wanted to talk to you about, our monthly goal. So I've had a couple of meetings over the last week with people that we've spoken to, I've demoed, then get them to sign up. And the next steps is me creating their accounts and us connecting their artists. Mm-hmm. The second I deliver to them the accounts with their artists, starts their free trial. Mm-hmm. So, and then I want to say a month to like, free trial. It could be longer, whatever. But the real concept here is if you look at the top, our current MRR is 6470. Upcoming MRR is what it will be like if the free trials convert to paid customers after the month. So we can clearly see if we deliver them their free trial and they get value in the 30 days after, we will be able to hit the upcoming MRR goal.
Nearly doubling our MRR.
Doubling our MRR. So this goes back to your question of like, is Warner, get Warner as a client our number one goal this month? Or really should our number one goal this month be make sure our free trial customers convert to paid customers and do whatever it takes for that to fucking happen. Because right now Warner is on the meeting. We have to set up another meeting. We have to get them into the free trial. We have to make sure there's a value. So it's a little bit longer of a sales process. But right now we have people that are signed up, ready, and frothing at the mouth to start using our tool. I just want to make sure that the second I give it to them, they can use it. Recent chats is working. Segments is delivering them. Scraping is giving enough data to create good segments. Like everything that we've kind of experienced over this month of like what people need in order to like really fucking get value. And I say all of this to ask you the question of, do you think that we need to reframe our monthly goal from the Warner is onboarded to convert free trials to paid users?
I like your idea of shifting the focus to focusing on the free trial people.
Perfect. Let's do it. All I say, aye.
I
had a
Sid is shipping, and Sid is sharing our internal revenue numbers publicly without me prompting him to.
Yeah, bro. I'm all in on this shit. Let's fucking go. Plus, like, this shit would be cool. Like, if I actually saw other companies doing it and was able to like participate and be like, oh, this is how they're thinking through making decisions. This is how they're thinking through going from 0 to 100 million MRR. Like, having that on YouTube would be fucking fire.
We're doing it. Yep. You've just built a tool that is now part of our cycle. Sid built a tool. This is what we need. This is sick. Power. Yeah. So let's go back here. Instead of Warner signs up, change this to convert free trial to paid customers.
Yes. Very clear. Very doable.
Did you hear me when I went into voice typing, or did it cut me out?
It did. It just changed a little, like the voice, but I still heard it.
Okay. Convert free trial to paid customers. In order to convert people from free trial to paid customers, are the sub points aligned with that, or are there different sub points we could put that will increase the likelihood that these free trials convert to paying customers?
Jump to founders.recoup.com. Open up 1 RPM. Or my.
Yeah, you've got them.
Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. Here's to-dos. Set up admin account with roster. I've done that. You can click that as marked.
Oh,
is that incorrect? Yeah, all right. I got it. Oh, you'll have to do it at the bottom. That's probably what it is.
Copy. Okay.
All right, cool. Make sure artist segments are valuable. That goes back to making sure we're scraping the right data in order to make the segment names valuable. In order to that, the next thing is make sure segment chat and recent chats work. So once we make the segments valuable, let's make sure recent chats and segment chats are working so they can easily chat and navigate.
Got to implement a little scrolling. Could use some.
Yeah.
Right.
This is what happens when you vibe.
This is what happens when you build. Okay, so we'll add that at the bottom because I think all these things happen after. Where'd it go? Shift tab. Paste them. There we go.
Yeah, some of them might be redundant, like make artist segments valuable, kind of aligns with segment name generation and add opportunity. Doing those two will make segments valuable.
I like that you wrote it down, and I'm happy to add it in. I love what you built. Monthly goals is where we were. We're now talking about power users. I've added in your goals to the segment side. What else do we want to talk about on power users to focus on extracting reflections or creating plans to continue to drive this forward? Is power users where we want to be focused, or do we want to?
Free trials?
Do we change this to free trials? Yeah. Free trials, and now I just start copying it from your list. Good talk, 6 cents. Just gonna delete this whole list. Less is more. Keep changing it. I didn't even remember what it was. Reset my Zoom. Good talk, 6 cents. Good.
Oh, I can walk you through it. Good talk, 6 cents.
Thank you. Who else?
Icon breaking.
1
RPM.
1 RPM. We love you, Steph.
Black Flag.
Black Flag. Good guys, Black Flag. Do we want to reorient these at all in terms of priority, or are they all equal footing?
1 RPM first. My question back to you is, what's more important? Somebody who's willing to give us more time and attention, or somebody who has a bigger roster. No, never mind. We don't have a bigger roster. Sorry. Icon breaking next, which is keys. Black Flag next. Then Good Talk, then 6 Cents. The reason why I organized it this 1 RPM has the biggest roster. The formula that I'm thinking in my head is roster plus time available. Like if we can have conversations with them if they're responsive, equals the value on this board. So 1 RPM just has the biggest roster. They have like 21 artists in their free trial. Icon breaking is keys. He has a couple two artists. Oh wait, I'm sorry.
You said roster size was the biggest priority in our criterion. What else?
Roster size plus or times or whatever you want to do. Time available or I don't know what's the word.
Willingness to give feedback, or
correct? Yeah, exactly.
Use product and give feedback. And then our customers are ranked in that order. Biggest roster. You were going through these others and giving a little label, or no?
Yeah. Sure. Icon breaking. His free trial will have I think 2 artists, but the entire roster is 10. And he has probably more, but he's very available, so we can get a lot of feedback as well.
That's keys, right?
Yeah, that's keys. Black Flag, their free trial has 5 artists. They're available, but less than keys.
Say less than icon breaking.
Yeah. Good Talk has I want to say 1 artist on the free trial, 10 on their roster. And I've only had 1 meeting with him. So this is Mike. Great. It was a great meeting, but I've only had 1. So he may move up the list if we have more meetings and he's more available.
Yeah.
And then 6 Cents. This is Angela. She's incredible. I had a great meeting with her, but she only has 2 artists on her roster. It's a small management company.
Boutique services.
Correct.
I like this. Free trials I'm happy with. We totally did away with what we did before. We've been changing this a lot. We're no longer tracking number of sign-ins, and we're using a tool that you built with your own hands with all that money you spent on your computer science degree in college.
Yeah, right? Can you imagine?
I'm glad you invested so many years in learning how to be a dev, because it's finally paying off.
Bro, I wish I still think that like there's a super value to being able to understand how that shit works. You could vibe code, but like then something breaks and you're just like, oh, like, just, yeah.
Vibe coding works until I have to look at the code.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Weekly goal. I think our weekly goal is down here from last week instead of in the upper section. If I'm reading this right, your weekly goals for this week were sales deck, start generating leads, follow up with humans in the sales pipeline, and support designs for V2 segments. My goals were scrape missing fields for avatar bio followers and missing. Dasha no limits, segment name generation, get in the opportunity, our goal this week is to refine our, this is that nice quote that you gave me to give in our segment generation. I also had scraping no duplicates, save money faster scraping, increase the probability to remove limits from all scraping instead of Dasha. You want to start with what you did on this list?
Yeah. I did 2 and 3. I'm still working on sales deck.
1 second. You said you did 2 and 3 and you're still working on sales deck?
Yeah.
I would agree with the first one. I really love that you built a tool in your tracking. V2, you gave us those designs very early on in the week. Thank you for those. This one's still in process. Is it important, or did it not get done because it's not important and there's better things you could be doing with your time to progress our company forward?
I didn't get it done because follow up with humans on the sales pipeline took number 1.
And that, I would agree that that's a bigger priority.
Yeah. I have new weekly goals we can add. My new weekly goals is to do the list from that I sent you in Slack. The debug recent chats, better markdown formatting, just all the front end UI shit that just needs to be cleaned up.
You want to be doing that instead of me and Jad?
Yeah.
Oh, so I should not have sent it to Jad. You will be doing those things.
You can send it to Jad. I finished the first one, artist homepage, and shipped you a PR this morning.
Okay, so there's a PR for me to review.
There's a PR for you to review. I'm working on recent chat displays now. I'm going to continue to work through it. Give me through the weekend, and on Monday we'll check in, and I'll let you know if there's a part of me that wants to work through the potential. This thing that's stopping me is I'm like, I don't want to press yes and then cursor goes and breaks a bunch of fucking shit, right? So as long as I stay on my own branches and I can kind of make sure I'm working in my own world, on Monday I'll let you know how far I get to, and we'll decide if we need Ziad to come in and help with some of the debugging, or if I can get it done. But I'm pretty confident I'm gonna knock it out. And then if I can, that's just gonna supercharge our iteration speed, because then you no longer have to worry about the back end. I mean the front end or linear tickets.
Yeah. Technical co-founder is a cracked for our iteration speed.
Yeah.
All this stuff, right? For now.
Right now, it's recent chats, markdown formatting, better segment reports, better suggestion boxes. Yeah, those are the main thing.
And you already did artist home navigation. That's in review for me.
Yeah.
In review for nice. My weekly goals: scrape missing fields for avatar, bio, followers, and following. This should be done. I still need to verify, so I'm not going to mark it as complete until we get approval from both of us that it seems like we're properly scraping. Dasha no limits, I didn't start. Segment name generation, I did not start. Scraping no duplicates, I did not start. Out of everything I defined, I did not make a massive dent in the list.
Question, same question to you. Why?
The scraper, the scraper is the most important part of our stack, and moving slowly with it, I think, allows us to move faster later on. This is the foundation for our entire stack. And so having a robust scrape gets us into a better place. I've been thinking deeply and asking myself a lot of questions on the scraping stack. and you as well.
I agree.
I've also had Coop Rex is having me ship an entire protocol, the admin side, and the front end, and all that work's been on me.
Fun.
In trying to hit the deadlines over there. And so I have spent a significantly higher amount of time with them this week than I normally do. And that is an abnormal week for the amount of time I spent on Coop Rex as opposed to Recoup. And the painters in my house, I have been leaving my house a lot to go find cafes, and then the Wi-Fi shuts down in the city and I've got to walk around for hours. There's a lot of excuses I could make. Ultimately, I think 80% of it is not enough of my own dev time spent making iterations on very specific tasks.
I love that. That's a great insight.
Removing a lot of these and keeping my focus smaller will allow us to be more focused and do it better next week. I think I tried to go out like 5 steps instead of elaborating more on the first step. And that's something I would like to do better this time. Not feel uncomfortable of like, oh shit, we're still not doing X, Y, or Z and focusing more. We really need to get to strong scraping foundation. I want to do better. This does not feel like a normal performance week for me. This feels like I under-delivered.
Yeah, you did. I mean, look, we have a weeks on and weeks off. I asked the question really because you asked me like, why did I not get to the sales deck? You know, and reality was just the other thing was more important, and so I built the sales pipeline tool. I ended up going down that route more. Well,
I love.
Did it, but yeah, like I think just understanding like, you know, the 2 things that you just said that stuck out to me the most was one, deleting some things to focus more on the most important foundation. So I agree, and I think we should. I think we also should delete things because we have Dacia in there, but that was from our monthly goal of Warner. And if that's not our monthly goal anymore, and it's free tools, I'm sorry, not free tools, free trials, then yeah, I would just get the scraping right and think through that, spend more time on that. The other thing that you mentioned, which I want to pose the next question around, which is you said it boils. There could be a lot of excuses, but it boils down to you didn't have enough dev time to work on what truly matters in your head, however you worded that. So my question is, how do we increase dev time? How can I help? What can I do to help you increase dev time? I'll start vibe coding on Coop Records if you need me, bro.
Yeah, that'd be a funny trip. I have been thinking more about hiring. My first gut instinct is hiring. I keep thinking about videos talking about a lot of great founders spend like 50+% of their time on hiring. And so far I've just been saying Jad is it, but I had someone reach out to me on Telegram and they wanted to charge $50 an hour. And I looked at their GitHub and I wasn't happy with it. And so I didn't bring them on. And so I'm partially vetting people and putting in limits, but I'm not actively going on and hiring people. And the big question in my mind is what will reap the greatest, how do we increase focused dev time is a great way to formulate the question. Which will increase our dev time, which will have the highest probability of maximizing our dev time? Me creating more disciplined space to focus exclusively on Recoup on a daily and weekly basis, or me spending more time focusing on hiring someone who can be on our team and contribute at the same level, at least that Sid is able to contribute.
Number one.
1,000%.
I do not think this is just from the Recoup standpoint. Do not think we should think through hiring. Hire slow, fire fast.
Yep.
Is how I'm thinking through building the Recoup team. That's not to say that like Jihad's there for when we need him to because we have the relationship with him. But I think if we are going to bring on anybody, the bar needs to be so much better than me and you. Like they need to intimidate the shit out of us. And so I definitely think that maximizing dev time. You don't need to answer the question now. We like that might be the most important, like one of the most important questions we take the weekend on is just. I would insert instead of maximize dev time, it's like maximize the right like good dev time, right? Because it like I don't want to maximize the time if it's not if it adds tech debt.
Yeah.
Right. So it's real. Like, how do we maximize dev time that's well spent? But yeah, you don't have to worry about it. Think through it. I just thought it was an interesting.
I agree with you that anybody that we hire should increase the bar above both you and myself. Anything less is a disservice to the current team that is already shipping.
Yeah, bro. A players only.
Mm-hmm.
A players only.
So going into linear, this is what I shipped for us. I shipped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I shipped 8 tasks in a 5-day week, unless you count the full 7. We'll count it on 5 to keep it a little bit more hinged and less unhinged. That's somewhere between 1 and 2 tasks a day. My ideal goal for Recoup is at a minimum 2 tasks per day. So I was 2 tasks short. Ideally, my goal for myself is shipping 4 tasks per day, which gives me on a 5-day week 20 tasks, or on 7, which I usually build on 5 times 7 is 35. So I'm sorry, 25 to 35 tasks per week is my goal. I think I'm probably on track for that, but most of that came in Coop Rex this week. And so I think overall I probably shipped my normal cadence. However, more of it went on the Coop Rex side this week than it did on Recoup, and that's something I would like to shift into next week. Am I good to do all these completed tasks?
Yeah, absolutely. And Sweets, whenever you're feeling like the question of why, just go back to that sales pipeline and look at the potential MRR if we knock this shit out. And then there's why we're doing what we got to do.
I don't know that we need to add anything in here right now. Is there anything that we want to delete to make more space for the weekly goals that you and I are going to have? I think I think scraping improvements is number 1, and then segment chats is number 2, and simple chat bugs is number 3. I think all 3 of those are exactly where our focus is right now. Do you have any? You agree? In that case, I don't know that anything needs to change here. Do you have anything you think needs deleted or modified to set me up for when I'm going to fill in the backlog this weekend?
No, I think we're good, bro. Sabah asked, what is the Instagram comment profiles?
Checking. Let's pull them up. Sabah Ashraf from YouTube. We don't get a lot of YouTube comments. Sabah, thank you for tuning in. Sabah Ashraf, what is Instagram comment profiles? Where did we... Instagram, did we say that somewhere? Did we talk about that?
What is it, Sabah? We don't know what you're talking about.
Sabah, we love that you're engaging. If you can give us clarity on when we said that or what you mean by Instagram comment profiles, we'll happily, as you can already see. Okay, you said thanks, man. Sabah, we love having you here. Thanks for tuning in.
Linear's looking good.
Linear's looking good. Let's go back to Notion. Weekly goals, linear reflect. We just did the linear reflect. Now we're into weekly goals for this week. I'm going to start updating mine. I want /fans, verify scraping is complete. What else? So we got the post page, we got the fans page. We then need to The follower scraping is going to be a big bulk of next week. Scraping them. We need to build. Yeah, we'll need to build the scraper for all of them. The fans is hopefully going to be something I got by Monday. I think scrape followers is going to be a big task because there's no Apify scrapers for scraping followers. So this is going to be a home built service. On the upside, I'm probably going to build that out as an API. And that means we're offering a service that Apify doesn't offer and no other team offers. And if we see an uptick in API usage, we can start to think about potentially monetizing.
Yeah, good idea. Great idea.
I think this is where I feel comfortable putting my limit. Let me get the fans, let me get scrape followers. And if I get both of those, is there anything else on the scraping side that we want to at least put in this list so that I hyper focus on adding followers to our scraping and adding tools so that we can easily verify that scraping is complete? The goal being make this week one of the last weeks that we're focusing on scraping so that we can shift from we have a solid foundation of scraping into segment names. So the question that I had again is what is missing from scraping currently, or what can I build to show what we are scraping so that at the end of this week, you and I can evaluate if scraping is in a solid enough place to move on to higher up parts of the stack that are built on top of it.
So the first question that I thought of when you asked what is missing from scraping, can you briefly talk through how you're thinking of scraping followers and what is included in the scrape? Because that will dictate the answer to the question.
Thinking there will be a new API endpoint called /followers. You hit that with any social ID, and that kicks off a new scraper. The scraper fetches their raw Instagram profile, targets wherever followers would be on the page, and attempts to use HTTP requests to get me the list of those profiles, which I'm assuming are just a username and their human readable name. After we get that list of profiles, we can then throw that list into our social scraping side, where we then backfill the missing info of how many followers do they have, how many following do they have, what's their bio, what's their avatar, get them saved inside of socials, and then create the link between that fan social profile and the artist so that they get grouped into these segments. How does that align with your vision?
Perfectly. So to answer your question of what is scraping missing, it's going to boil down to what you're able to do with the scraper, at the end of the day. If we can get creative, then we get creative. But I think what you just said sounds great. Will location data be awesome? Yes. Right. If you can't get it, then, what are we going to do? So thinking through that stuff, I think just the more data we can get, the better. I keep going back to and not starting from, but asking the question of like, we're scraping so that we can get unique hidden fan communities. What is a valuable hidden fan community name? And are we scraping the data that we need to populate that name? So some of the names that I think that we've talked about is chess players who love drill beats. So how would we get that data? Like we would scrape their videos to see what kind of music is playing behind it to then identify, like there's so many things that we can add to the scraper to really identify unique hidden segments.
Yeah.
I don't want to overwhelm you. So I think starting with what you said is best, but always go back to like, and thinking through like what if you found out that 1.3% of your fans went to ETH Denver and lived in Argentina, like the value of, okay, cool, well then like what can I do for those fans, or how can I interact with them, or I'm gonna like, so like thinking through just like what are those data points that actually, I'm sorry. And I know I'm rambling, but going even back to like the main MIQ of like, what info can we give that nobody else can give? And it's all starts with that scraper.
Yeah.
So if everybody can scrape things that is average, what are the things that we're scraping that nobody's thinking of? That like, oh man, with an LLM and AI, we can scrape this and figure out this data. We can analyze an audio and a video and come up with this. Like lots of cool little things, but I'll leave it at that.
Going into MIQ, last week, this is the last section of our call today. Sid said, what info can we give to artists and labels, which they do not already have, which is truly necessary? And I said, what is the smallest set of changes required to have 100% consistency in the information scraped across all profiles for bio, avatar, following, and followers? For mine, I'm going to kind of write out a couple. How do we increase focused dev time, focused, impactful dev time? What scraping data is missing to provide the segments we desire to create? Copy the blurb up here. What web components can we display to verify the social proof of all the data we are scraping? So musicians clearly see our scraping is effective. So musicians clearly, I'll keep it at that for now. Your MIQ last week, what info, do you want to reflect on mine before we go into yours?
I love yours.
Okay. On yours, same or different?
My most important question is, can I ship faster than Sweets? Let's fucking go. And then the second one is the same. So we'll leave it.
The second one is the same as last week.
Yeah. Well, you can leave this top to bottom, whatever. That's fine. Yeah.
Top to bottom. Okay, we'll keep it in the other order.
I fuck with it.
Anything else on this week before we close this down and start going into wrap up?
No, nothing else on the Recoup. Nothing else on the Recoup Weekly. I was thinking through if there's anything I saw this week that's crazy.
Were there any builds or anything that you didn't get to share? You shared the founders page, which is an awesome build. I got to share my docs and the new page.
The only thing is the pull request.
Do we review it now?
It's up to you.
I mean, if it's an option of doing it now and not taking up time after the call, I will absolutely do it now.
Let's fucking do it.
Where can I find it?
In the ZI message thread, reply. There we go. And then there is
10 files changed going into main. Unverified is interesting that it's showing that. Evals are failing, that's expected. Let's start with testing before I go into reviewing. How can I test these changes?
Pull it up.
Let me go to mail. Get this off the main screen because I always share my mail.
Ooh, this is fun. It's like a test.
That is what I'm doing right now, is testing your changes.
Yeah. Ooh, let's fucking go.
053856. 053856. Okay, I'm logged in. How do I? Oh, so now we go to new immediately instead of the dashboard?
Yeah,
Was that the main change in this pull request, or is there a different change?
that was the main change.
That's the main change, and we changed 10 files to do that.
No, I did a couple little things while I was there. Some just little UI improvements.
You changed the chat input to make it the shadow gray instead of small.
Yeah, that there was like a big shadow on the chat input box. I removed that, or like made it smaller. I removed the word campaign from the header. Simple little things. The main change
Oh, it was
was
up here?
yeah. It doesn't say campaign anymore.
Yep.
The main change was when you would select a new artist, it would show the autopilot.
Right.
And I switched it to chat. The reason why is because autopilot is still confusing and doesn't have any call to action.
Right. Incomplete work.
Yeah. So now it's goes right back to chat, gives them a call to action. What can they do with their artist now that they're selected? You can start chatting. I now need to do all the other shit, but
Center. So this is the slider for these. You modify.
Did I also change that? I did that. I changed that as well. Previously, there were two hard coded, so it was repeating the same two.
Uh-huh.
I added 4 hard coding so it doesn't repeat itself.
Okay. Color change, padding change, slides preview, space between, centered slides. Let me see how it looks on mobile, because a lot of this is design change.
Yes, let's go. I started with mobile. Let's fucking go.
Okay. All right, we'll mark this one as done. Accessibility for blind people. Route to the new page. This was the main change, yeah?
Yeah.
When is this running? Handle click. Toggle drop down. If path name includes funnels, we redirect back to home if they don't have an artist. Handle click, what are we clicking on? Header artist. Artist. If path name does not include new, push to new. There's a button, image with fallback. Is this if I click on an artist image?
If you click on an artist, yeah.
Okay, so if I'm in segments and then I click an artist, you're moving me away from segments and into new?
Yeah, if you collect a new artist, it brings you back. It's a great question though. I haven't thought through that. Is keeping them where they already are, but just changing the artist?
Yeah.
But I can think through that. That's a good point.
Okay, I'll keep that one. We've got commented code in here. Should be deleted if it's not being used. Show temporarily disabled. You're removing the.
Oh, I removed the on mobile, the install thing. Reason why is because I just need to redesign it, and it was getting in the way of mobile. It was more confusing than not.
Okay. If this is just the code should be deleted, not commented out. Principal Yagni, you aren't going to need it. Here, why are we redirecting on click of an artist? If I am on posts, I want to click through my active artists to see the posts for each active artist. If you redirect me, I have more clicks and added frustration. That should be removed if you're going to comment it out. Sign in page, if authenticated, push to new. There's an use effect that is run when authenticated changes. And now we're just reading. This is your main change. This is, it seems like what you wanted to do was this single line, and you've added in a lot of other stuff. This is your.
Yeah, I agree with you. I can change the.
I will not be giving this an approval stage, just so you know. We'll
Yeah, don't.
But I'm not. This is adding tech debt.
Yeah, I agree.
Else if path name is / use first artist redirect. If path name is / can you tell me what this change is doing?
Only redirect from the root path to new. This was the root path is autopilot.
Sure. In which context is this going to get called? Is on use first artist redirect.
When you sign in, when you first authenticate.
That's here, right? Authenticated sign in page. Oh, well, no, that's on the sign in page. So this is only sign in page. So this is use first artist redirect. Path name. Authenticated. Fetch app artists. Get the data. Data.artists. This is going to redirect when the state of ready authenticate a bunch of stuff from privy changes. And we should be redirecting people if, okay. This same thing. Do not comment code, delete unused code, principal, Yagni.
I like it.
These are the new prompts that you added?
Yes, I will probably end up doing different ones when I get to that part, but.
Okay. I like that you're shipping.
Hell yeah, bro. I'm shipping the whole fucking thing. We're going far this weekend.
Yeah. I recommend smaller PRs. If you had just done your single changes, there's a higher chance of approval and you're going to be able to ship more and typically faster. But I understand when you start getting in the code, you're like, oh, this thing also needs cleaned up and you jump over it. I have the exact same, I follow the same tendency. And so this is also a note for myself. I'm like, if something's important, it's worth defining the ticket. It's worth having a branch just for that change. And it's worth just focusing on that change. If you see a side thing, write it down and not distract and to keep our PRs light. This is a note for myself as well.
I like it. No, yeah, that's great. Yeah, just don't sit there and do 1,000 fucking things in the one branch because you could sit there and make 1,000 changes. I agree. All right, cool. I'm gonna go back. I agree with you on the switching through artists. You want to be able to stay on the same page that you're on. Unless it's like a new chat or something.
Unless it's a chat. I think that's the context that you're most worried about is if it's scraping or if it's on a chat, they shouldn't stay on that chat page or on that scraping page. In those specific contexts, redirect them to your new page. I would almost argue instead of redirecting them to a new page, change root to be the new chat and have autopilot be / autopilot. But those are flavors of the same thing. There's a million different ways to skin a cat.
Yeah, and I wanted to try to do the least breaking changes, so changing the root, like, you know.
Yep.
So, but I agree with what you're saying. So, I will do that. The next one I'm on right now, which is this was just a quick route change. This recent chat is proving to be a fun beast right now. Because right now I see all of my artist chats, even if I'm in one artist. So that's fun.
Is there how can I support your practice of doing the dev work that you're doing for Recoup?
What you just did. If we do more of this, then it'll help me ship more to your standards. It'll help me understand, be a lot more focused and not as big pull requesty. So yeah, I think that's just more of this. So let me take the weekend. I'll try to knock this stuff out. I'll try to make it as many pull requests as possible.
Yeah.
And then that way we can kind of go through and really identify which ones. We'll talk Monday on whether it's something that where we need to bring Jihad in.
For people that are watching this that think you're an actual coder that actually went to university, can you give a little bit of a recap on when you first started coding, when did you first start coding, and what has changed between that moment and now to allow you to be delivering code at the level you're currently doing?
That's a great question. I started coding, I'll probably say August of last year.
2024?
Yeah, August, September, October, November, December, January, February. Yeah, 8 months ago, maybe less. But when I say coding, I mean like downloading a SAS template and trying to understand what is going on, in it.
That was the birthday of Recoup, more or less.
Yeah, that was figuring out. Yeah, that was the number one thing. Is
the day Sid learns how to code is the day Recoup kind of was born.
Yeah, and it was like, the hardest thing is just diving into the code base, man, and understanding like, it's so intimidating when you look at a cursor and all of the files, and you don't know what is what. That's the hardest part. So you just start fucking around in it. You kind of start to figure it out, And what has changed?
Been the most helpful is just playing around with it has allowed you to see it better. Was that a change, or is there a different change that has enabled you to start shipping and feeling more confident of making changes in our production app?
No, building the other tool, building the pipeline tool helped me.
Founders tool?
Yeah, this week, like it helped me be like, you know what, like it also really helps that the thing that I'm trying to change is broken. So my mentality going into it is like, I can't break it any further. Whereas previously, like if I'm just trying to make improvements, I'm like, oh fuck, I don't want to make any breaking changes, and it's not worth it, But now it's like, all right, cool. Like if people can't organize their chats, they can't use the product, so we gotta, I gotta get in there. But yeah, I think just getting in and just starting building shit is the hardest fucking vibe coding, bro. You just gotta vibe.
Like you starting from zero and doing a side project helped give you more confidence in a standalone from nothing code base of your founders app, gave you the space to play around, make mistakes, not worry about breaking anything. And that built up your confidence so that you come back into this app and you're like, you already ran through a couple repetitions. And so it feels a little bit more familiar coming into the prod app. Is that accurate?
1,000%. You know what also helped me too is understanding Git a little bit more and like branching to understand if I do make mistakes, how to go back without breaking things. Like I've still, until actually the last couple of weeks, like I've just been scared of like you saw, like I would duplicate our entire database and work off of a separate Superbase project because I didn't want to fuck with production in case Cursor went in and started deleting fucking tables. So like just figuring out how to, figuring out how to silo the tests and vibe coding into helping. I also, everything that I've done in Cursor lately has been slowing down. I used to just be like, yes, 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 slowing down a little bit and saying things like, here's the context. Tell me what you're thinking. Don't make any changes before you approve, before I approve, and seeing how it thinks it should go. And then me being like, oh, actually, that's not how the app works. It actually does this. So like, I guess having a little bit more confidence and slowing down has helped a lot too.
What is the value of Git branching as opposed to just pushing straight to main?
Not breaking shit. I'm gonna break shit if it's going to main. No, you know what? I think it's funny. I think through. It's literally like the same thing when you're recording a song and you have backup files and like you're like, man, I hate the hook that we've been working on for the past hour, so I want to go to like the previous version, you know. But like in Pro Tools and in that world, you could just go to File and click. It's like an interactive UI to be able to get back to your old files. Whereas when you're in an IDE, it's like you gotta use the command line to get back to your old files, and that's the difference of trying to wrap your head around using an IDE instead of just clicking a pretty picture that says old version. There's a fucking play right there. We just set a great product for vibe coders. Like
Version control for vibe coders.
Version control for vibe coders. So it's you can literally click your backups. Fucking there you go. There you go, Greg Eisenberg. Fuck with us.
Nobody's podcast.
Yeah, that's what we need, bro. You know, it's crazy. We're working on music and shit, and we don't have a jingle.
We don't have sonic branding.
We don't have sonic brand. We need a sonic brand right now.
If you tuned in this far, thank you for tuning in. Please click the like button, click the follow button, click the subscribe button. Leave a comment on what the most valuable part of this entire experience has been. And tune in next week. We do this every single week at the same time. This has been us building in public, Recoup, the agent that is putting a record label in your pocket.